Hello, hello, blessed Imbolc, y'all. Here we are in this beautiful midway point, and as a friend of mine Coco had mentioned, we're also in this time where the Kaliak and the old winter hag who likes things to be cold and slow is kind of starting to play tug or war with the next season that's ahead. And so you can see that this is around this time, it's like the seasons are still pulling at another. We haven't been pulled out of winter yet. And and so as we're celebrating, as I'm celebrating and honoring Bridget, the bright one, there's this, I was learning about how, so Imbolc is about like, it's from in the mound, or it's the time of your ewes milk. And this is, here we are where if you look at the animals, it's lambing season. So you've got the milk is starting to run from the udders because the babies are starting to get born, the lambs. And so traditionally it's also by observing how nature is playing around you, you're able to almost track and take action in your own life. So if you've had a cold, long winter and you've been just working on the last scraps of what you've preserved, when the milk comes in, it represents this like time of like creams and butters and just more decadence. And so there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot of feasting at all Sabbaths. Let's be honest, we love food. But this time of like bringing in this richness into our lives, and that it's okay to start not rationing as much. I know we're in a different world here in the Western world, at least, where there's a lot more accessibility to all kinds of food all the time. But something I've been feeling into is, so in the mound, we're emerging from the mound. We're beckoning Bridget, the bright one, to come out from the earth, to bring her heat and her sun. And so Imbolc is also this time of like calling forth the light and the warmth, and almost like that tug of war with the Kaliak, where we're asking for the forces that bring forth warmth and life and fertility to like come to the helm. Because even though we're still between and betwixt the seasons, there's not like a commitment yet that we even need to make within ourselves, that there's still these sending forth these prayers of fertility and fecundancy. And also what I see of that right now where I live, because we're actually on water catchment system. So the water of now, of this season, directly affects our ability to have water in the summertime. So when the great rains come, it's like we really need to fill up those tanks. And the same thing with the earth is like all the rains and the snows are needed to quench and bring their waters into the deep aquifers and fill up the water that we're going to need in the further seasons. So this idea that that all seasons are truly interfacing with another and are important and imperative for the wheel of the year to actually continue. And so especially for those of you that are like quite tied into the earth's rhythms, who tend the earth, you have plants and green bloods that you play with and dance with and call forth and tend, that actually, even though there's so little needed in some ways to tend, much less at this time, what I find is important is we're tending the prayers of calling forth these waters to soak up the land, calling forth our clarity of this next year to come, because soon we're going to, we've just started ordering seeds. And so there is a bit of a pause moment, but in that pause, I find that it's what a better time to let our prayers be what we are tending right now. And so I just leave you with that. And so feeling into, as we pray for this next year to come, and as we're calling let the waters of this planet to rehydrate and moisten the landscape, that there's also this request of the future to speak to us now. So sometimes, like, I could almost see like a fun ritual to be doing at this time is working with our future selves to ask them to guide us appropriately as we are lining up how we're going to plant and seed and bring our creative and life force energy into tending the next season. So calling like, what is our future self asking us to take heed of right now in this liminal space that is Imbolc. So that's a bit of what I will share with you today. And also that Bridget, she's a goddess that holds, the sacred well and the flame. So it's this like holding these two elements in balance, which I think is what is being called for at this time, is calling forth the warmth of the sun and the sweet waters, the deep well of that's needed, the deep well of the aquifer, the land. In my case, a bunch of full rain catching systems for like 20 people, including a bunch of kids. And so that's my prayer today, is like for us to feel in how can we ask for the waters around us on a planetary level and also on an emotional level seep deeply into us. How can we be connected to our own internal waters and let them flow right now, let them saturate and seep into our body so that we can feel hydrated for the life that's coming towards us, that we get to live in the future. Bit of a roundabout way of saying blessed Imbolc. Ciao.